The alien ship Zorthor 7 floated quietly in deep space, far from any stars. It was cold, dark, and silent. Inside, the crew worked slowly, like always. They were the Droven, a proud alien race with 4 arms, thick gray skin, and black round eyes. They had captured many life forms before. They believed they were the smartest, the strongest. They believed no one could harm them. But today, they had found something strange. Inside the ship's med lab, one Droven doctor stood over a steel table. On the table was a human tall, strong, with cuts and burns across his face and arms. He wore a dark suit, damaged from battle. Blood covered one side of his face. "He's alive?" asked one Droven guard. "Barely," said the doctor. "His heart is strong. Much stronger than I expected." The room was quiet. Why did he fight so long? The guard asked. His ship was broken. His crew was dead. Why didn't he give up? The doctor touched a screen. A soft beep echoed. "I don't know," the doctor said. "But we will find out. We will open his mind." They didn't know his name. They didn't know he was dangerous. They didn't know that capturing him was the biggest mistake of their lives. The human's name was John Carter. He had been a soldier, a commander. He had fought in 3 wars. He had survived things most men didn't even dream of. His ship, the Artemis, was on a deep space mission exploration, not war. But the Droven didn't care. They attacked without warning. John had watched his crew die. He had fought until the end. His last memory before blacking out was pressing a red button on his wrist. The emergency beacon. Now, he was inside the enemy ship. But he was not scared. He was waiting. Inside the control room, Commander Vakra of the Droven fleet stared at the human's picture on a screen. He didn't like it. "This creature fought for over an hour, alone," Vakra said. "He damaged 3 of our ships. This is not normal." Another officer nodded. "He's just a simple life form, sir. One of many," Vakra growled. "No, this one is different. His eyes, did you see them in the battle footage? He wasn't afraid. What should we do?" Vakra looked at the screen again. He pressed a button. "Bring him to the lab. Begin the mind scan." 2 guards entered the med lab. The human still lay on the table, breathing slowly. They placed metal bands around his head. A machine above him started to glow. "This will take 5 minutes," said the doctor. The scan started. Blue light moved across John's face. Then something strange happened. The machine blinked, then flickered, then went dark. "What?" The doctor said. The machine came back on, but now the screen showed something strange. Words, numbers moving fast. "Too fast. He's blocking the scan," the doctor whispered. "That's not possible." One guard said. The screen turned black. Then a single message appeared in Droven language. "Nice try." Everyone froze. Suddenly, the human opened his eyes. He looked around. Calm, quiet, cold. "Hello," John said in perfect Droven. The guard stepped back. "You speak our language?" One shouted. John smiled. "I learned it," he said. On the way here, the lights flickered again. The ship shook slightly. The doctor reached for the emergency alarm. John sat up. No one stopped him. "Where are my weapons?" he asked. "You are a prisoner." The guard shouted, pointing his weapon. John tilted his head. "Then shoot," he said. The guard hesitated. A long moment passed. No one moved. Commander Vakra saw the alarm from the med lab. He ran down the hall with 6 soldiers. When they arrived, they found the guards standing still, weapons in hand, but not firing. The human was sitting on the edge of the table, relaxed. Vakra raised his weapon. "Don't move," he shouted. John looked at him. He smiled again. Not a friendly smile. "I've been here long enough," John said. "Time to go." Vakra fired. John moved, faster than anyone expected. The shot missed. John grabbed one of the guards, took his weapon, and rolled behind a wall. Lasers filled the room. Smoke, light, sound dash chaos. In 10 seconds. 2 guards were down. In 30 seconds. John was gone. Vakra shouted into his cum. Seal the doors. Lock every hallway. Find him. But it was too late. John moved through the ship like a ghost. He didn't know every hallway. But he didn't need to. He understood systems, patterns, routines. He had studied them during his fake sleep. He opened vents, crawled through shafts, took small tools, parts, wires. He was building something. He didn't plan to escape yet. He planned to send a message. Back on Earth, inside a deep mountain base, a red light flashed. A screen showed a single code, C-47 red. A general looked at it and stood up slowly. Is it real? A young officer asked. The general nodded. It's Carter, he said. He's alive. The room went quiet. What do we do? Another officer asked. The general pressed a button. Wake up Cerberus, he said. Cerberus was Earth's most secret weapon. An AI built for only one thing, revenge. Had slept for 5 years. Now, it woke. A deep voice echoed through the base. C-47 code confirmed. Launching retaliation protocol. Across the Earth, silent ships began to move. Satellites turned. Engines started. Earth didn't wait for orders. Earth responded. Back on Zorther 7, alarms rang across the ship. Every system was glitching. Cameras were going dark, doors opening and closing. Lights flickering. VA-KRA shouted at his team. Find him. He's only one human. But the crew was scared now. He's not just a human, one said. He's something else. They didn't know that John had connected his wrist beacon to their systems. He was inside the ship now. Not just walking its halls, but walking through its code. He spoke to the ship. And the ship listened. John stood in the engine room now. He had the parts he needed. He placed a small device on the core. A countdown started. He didn't want to destroy the ship yet. He wanted to make them afraid. Back in the control room, Vakra saw the message appear on every screen. You took one of us. Now we're coming. And below it, call on Earth. No one knew how the message was sent. No one knew what Earth really was. But for the first time, the Droven were afraid. John moved again. He had only minutes before they found him. He needed to reach the hangar. There were ships there, small ones, fast ones. But first, he needed one last thing. He entered the data room. Rows of alien computers. He placed a drive inside the main terminal. He downloaded everything. Maps, locations, weapons, secrets. He wasn't just escaping. He was collecting evidence. Vakra reached the engine room and found the device. It was too advanced. Too clean. Too human, he shouted. Disarm it. But no one knew how. The timer reached 0. Nothing exploded. But the lights turned red. The ship shut down. Complete power loss. John had disabled the entire vessel. He walked into the hangar. 3 guards saw him. He didn't stop. He raised his stolen weapon. 3 shots. 3 hits. He kept walking. He opened the hatch of a small ship. He sat down. He pressed a button. The engine started. Vakra ran into the hangar just as the ship lifted off. Fire! He shouted, but the cannons were offline. He could only watch. As the ship disappeared into the black sky. John sat back in the seat. He looked out the window. He whispered to himself. They took one human. He touched the control panel. Now Earth is coming. In a quiet underground base, hidden deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, a red light started blinking. No alarms. No loud noises. Just one red light. The soldier at the control desk noticed it. He stood up slowly. He had never seen that light turn on before. Not in 5 years. He looked at the screen. Code C-47 Reddy's hand shook slightly as he pressed the black button on the wall. A Calm female voice spoke across the base. Emergency beacon activated. Clearance required. The soldier whispered one word, Carter. In a locked room 2 floors down, an old general opened his eyes. He had been sleeping in a chair, waiting. He stood up, walked to the screen, and typed in a long code. The screen showed one name. John Carter, status alive. The general smiled for the first time in years. He turned to the officer behind him. Wake the council. Inform the fleet. Earth is now at war. John Carter's emergency beacon had traveled through deep space, across wormholes, and past enemy lines. It took 5 days, but it reached Earth. Only a few people could send that code. Only one person had the clearance to activate protocol. Cerberus. That person was now flying alone in an alien escape ship, deep behind enemy space. The small ship John had stolen moved fast, using alien engines. It was quiet, smooth. He had rewired the systems to hide his location. He looked at the blinking light on his wrist device. The message had sent. Now Earth knew. Now they were coming. Back on Earth. Inside the Cerberus command room, the AI was fully awake now. It spoke. In a calm, deep voice, human survivor confirmed. Signal traced to Drovan territory. Protocol retaliation in progress. 3 black ships began to rise from under the ocean. 2 more flew out from hidden moon bases. These were not public ships. They were not built for defense. They were built for revenge. The president of Earth sat in a private war chamber. Only 6 people were in the room. No press, no politics. Just action. How bad is it? The president asked. The general looked at the screen. Carter's ship was destroyed. His crew is dead. He was taken by the Drovan? Yes. The president was quiet for a long moment. Then we respond. Full force. No warnings. Inside the Zorther 7, the alien commander Vakra sat in the dark. The ship was still recovering from the power shutdown John had caused. Systems were coming back slowly. Commander, one tech officer said, we've traced the human's beacon. Vakra turned his head. Where did he send it? To his home planet, Earth. Vakra's eyes narrowed. And? We don't know much about Earth. It was a level 4 threat. Primitive. But what? The officer looked nervous. We found something in his device. A message. Vakra stood up. Show me. The screen turned on. It was a video short. Dark. Grainy, but the message was clear. John Carter stood in front of a camera. Blood on his face. Eyes full of fire. He said only 3 words. We are coming. Vakra turned off the screen. He looked at his officers. Prepare for war. Back in deep space, on the SS Vengeance, the captain received the final coordinates. He read the report out loud. 1 human captured. Hostile race. Drovan. Status. Unprovoked attack. Response. Immediate. He turned to his crew. You know the rules. We don't leave our people behind. The crew stood silently. Each one of them had heard of John Carter. Some had trained under him. Some had fought beside him. Now, he was in enemy hands. And Earth didn't forget its own. In the small alien ship, John watched as the stars moved around him. He was heading toward a hidden human outpost 1. The Drovan didn't know about, but he knew he was being followed. The Drovan would not let him escape so easily. He checked the controls. Low power, no weapons. 1 chance left. He sent a second signal, a small one, a whisper in space. Back on Earth, the signal reached the fleet. The SS Wraith, a fast response ship, picked it up first. The captain read the message. Send pickup. I have intel. I'm not done yet. They sent a reply. Hold position. We're coming. Inside the Drovan High Council, the leaders were panicking. They had captured a single human, and now Earth was moving. The supreme leader slammed his fist on the table. How can 1 life cause all this? No one answered. Another general spoke. We underestimated them. The room went silent. They don't think like us. They don't run. They come back. We need to kill him, one said. We tried, another replied. He's still alive. John. Carter didn't plan to hide. He had one goal, make them fear. He opened the stolen files from the Drovan ship. He saw maps, coordinates, and plans. They had taken more than just him. They had attacked colonies, taken prisoners, stolen technology. This wasn't an accident. This was war. And Earth hadn't even started fighting yet. The Wraith reached his location first. John saw the human ship in the distance. Sleek, black, deadly. He smiled. They found him. He opened the comm. This is Commander Carter. Permission to dock. The voice replied instantly. Permission granted. Welcome back, sir. As John stepped onto the Wraith, the crew saluted. The captain walked up to him. We got your signal. John nodded. I have information. We need to hit them hard. Already on it, the captain said. You're not the only one they took. John's face turned dark. How many? We're still counting. He looked back at the stars. Then we don't wait. Back on the Drovan homeworld, panic was rising. Ships were being moved. Defenses powered up. A shadow was coming. A human fleet, black as night, fast as light, was on its way. They didn't speak. They didn't warn. They just moved on the SS Vengeance. John stood before the tactical screen. This is where they're keeping the others, he said, pointing to a red star. We go there first. The general nodded. And after that? John looked at him. His eyes were cold. After that, we make them regret ever touching Earth. The Drovan high-security lab was hidden inside a mountain on their coldest moon. Vrekos 9. Thick metal doors, laser gates, and 10 armed guards kept the place locked down. No one got in or out without orders from the High Council. Inside the lab, everything was clean and silent. The walls were white. The floors were cold. Machines hummed softly. This was where the Drovan studied their enemies. They didn't use torture. They used science. And now, they had something Earth would never allow. They had human minds. In the center of the lab was a tall glass chamber. Inside floated a young human woman, her eyes closed, wires connected to her head. She was alive, but dreaming. The Drovan called it a mental freeze. They used it to access memories without waking the subject. But today, all the machines were off. Not broken, not damaged. Just shut down. Something was wrong. Scientist Talvex, one of the Drovan's top mind researchers, stood in front of the chamber. His 4 fingers tapped a small screen again and again. Why isn't it working? He asked, more to himself than anyone else. Another scientist, Dralin, answered without looking up. Her brainwaves changed. They're not following any known pattern. We tried 7 models, nothing fits. Talvex growled. We captured 6 humans. All 5 others worked, but not her. Dralin nodded slowly. This one's different. A tall, pale Drovan entered the room. He wore black armor and a red badge. Commander Vrel, leader of security. What is the delay? He asked, voice low and serious. Talvex turned to him. Her mind. It fights back. It won't open. We tried 4 scans, memory pulls, and neural whispers. She blocks everything. Block? Vrel asked. That's not possible. They don't have psychic training. I thought the same, Talvex replied. But look. He touched a screen. It showed waves of color moving across the human's brain scan. These are not normal brain signals. These are organized. Organized how? Like she's sending us a message, but not in words, in thoughts. Vrel stared at the girl in the chamber. Who is she? Her file says Lieutenant Ava Marino, Human Tactical Specialist. Stationed on the Artemis. Vrel's face darkened. That's the same ship as the one we captured. Yes, the same ship as Commander John Carter. The name made Vrel pause. He hated that name. They had tried to erase all records of the escape, but everyone in the Droven fleet knew the story now. One human soldier broke out of the main cruiser, disabled the ship, escaped with stolen data, and sent a warning to Earth. Since then, the Droven had seen Earth's response: fast ships, silent strikes, satellites disappearing. It had started with Carter. Now, Earth was moving like a storm. Talvex leaned in closer to the girl in the chamber. "She's hiding something," he whispered. "Something important, but I can't break in." "What if she's doing the same thing as Carter?" Dralin asked. Vrel narrowed his eyes. "What do you mean?" Dralin turned to them. "What if she's awake?" For a long second, no one spoke. Then, the lights in the lab flickered. Just once, very fast, almost like a blink. Vrel looked up. "Was that a system error?" "No," Talvex said. "The generator is stable." Then it happened again. This time, the lights went out for 2 seconds. When they came back on, something had changed. The screen beside the chamber was now showing a different display. It wasn't data. It was a drawing. A rough, shaky line sketch. It looked like an eye, one single human eye, looking straight at them. Vrel took a step back. "What is this?" "I don't know," Talvex said. "No one entered this." "Then how did it get there?" Talvex looked at the chamber. Ava's eyes were still closed. Her body didn't move, but her brainwaves had increased. She was aware. Awake. And watching them. Dralin checked the memory interface. "There's something else," he said. "A deep folder." In the human's mind had unlocked. It wasn't a memory. It was a recording from John Carter. Vrell stepped forward. "Play it." The screen changed. Now, John Carter's face appeared. He looked tired, dirty, but alive. He stared straight ahead and spoke in a calm voice. "If you're seeing this, it means you found one of ours. You think you can open our minds. Pull out memories like files, but we're not machines. We're not weak. We're not afraid. This woman, Lieutenant Ava Marino, is stronger than you know. You took her. You think that means power. But to us, it means war. Every second you hold her, Earth gets closer. And when we arrive, we won't ask questions. We'll just end it." The screen shut off. Silence fell over the lab. Talvex whispered. That message was inside her mind, hidden deep. Vrel looked around. How did he put it there? "I don't know." Vrel turned to the guards. "Lock this lab down. No more scans, no more tests. She's a weapon." Outside the lab, a Droven patrol ship picked up strange signals. They looked like shadows in space. Moving too fast, too quiet. One officer zoomed in. He saw a shape black sharp. Fast. Not Dro Van. Human. The Droven High Council gathered. Again, tensions were high. They had just lost 2 outposts in the last 3 days. Destroyed in under a minute. No survivors. All signs pointed to Earth. The leader of the council stood. This started with one human. We treated it like a small thing. Now we see it as not. They are only 6 billion, one alien said. They are 6 billion fighters. Another corrected. We cannot keep these prisoners. They're too dangerous. But we can't release them now. Earth will still come. Then we must prepare. Earth is not just coming for Carter. They are coming for all of them. Back in the lab, Eva's eyes slowly opened. She didn't panic. She didn't scream. She looked at Talvex through the glass, calm, steady, and she smiled. The lab lights went off again, this time for longer. 5 seconds. When they returned, the chamber was empty. Alarms blared. Guards ran in. Vrel shouted orders. "Find her. Lock the exits." But the chamber was sealed from the inside. No damage. No cracks. She was simply gone. One screen flickered. It showed a message in Droven text. 4 words. She is not alone. In the shadows of Rekos 9, a human ship was already landing. Inside were 3 soldiers from Earth. Their mission: recover the prisoners, destroy the lab, send a message. Lieutenant Ava Marino stepped out of a hidden hallway. She had stolen a Drovan sidearm. She walked calmly to the team. "Miss me?" she said. The leader grinned. "Let's bring you home." Above them, in orbit, Earth's main fleet moved into position. No threats. No warnings. Just silence. And the quiet sound of justice coming. Space was quiet. Stars shined in the dark, like cold eyes. But that silence would not last. A storm was coming, and this time it wore Earth's flag. The SS Vengeance, Earth's flagship, hovered just outside Drovan space. It was black, long, and shaped like a blade. Thousands of small ships circled around it, fighters, bombers, stealth drones. Earth had brought its best. Inside the command room, Commander John Carter stood at the front screen. He looked at a digital map of the Drovan sector. Red zones showed enemy bases, blue dots marked human prisoners. He pointed at one location blinking near a dying star. "That's where they took the children." The room went quiet. "Any idea how many guards?" the captain asked. "Enough to scare anyone else," Carter replied. "But not us," someone said. Carter nodded. "Not us." Across the system, Drovan patrol ships watched the stars. They had heard stories, ships disappearing, bases going dark. No warnings. Just silence. And then fire. Now they scanned every signal, every heat wave, every shadow, but they didn't see what was already behind them. In a silent corner of space, Earth's stealth squadron moved into position. Each ship was invisible to Drovan radar. Each pilot had trained for years for this moment. The mission was simple: get in, rescue the prisoners, destroy the lab, leave a message. On board the lead fighter, Lieutenant Ava Marino adjusted her helmet. She had been captured, studied, almost broken. Now she was free, and she was angry. Her voice came through the comms. "This isn't about revenge. It's about warning them. We don't forget. And we don't forgive." The Drovan base near the dying star was called ZRAC-5. It was built into an asteroid, heavily armed, and protected by a gravity shield. They believed no one could reach it, but they didn't know humans had a new kind of ship, the Valkyrie class. Breaker. It didn't fight shields. It bypassed them. At exactly 0200 hours, Earth made its first move. The shield around Xeric 5 shimmered, just for a second, and then vanished. Before anyone could react, the Earth ships dropped in. 5, 10, 20. In less than 6 seconds, the sky was full of them. The Drovan guards scrambled, cannons turned, alarms blared, but it was too late. Boom! The first strike hit the power core. The second knocked out weapons. By the third, the command tower was already gone. Inside the base, Drovan officers screamed for orders, but the screens were dark. The communications were dead. They were blind. They were deaf. They were doomed. Commander Carter's voice came through all human channels. "Avoid civilian targets. Free the prisoners. Take only what we need. Let them know we were here." Inside the base, Earth's ground team moved like shadows. They carried silent weapons, wore dark armor, and used translator chips. When they found the cells, they didn't speak. They just opened the doors and saluted. The prisoners, men, women, even children, looked at them with wide eyes. "You're real?" one boy asked. The soldiers smiled. "We're here to take you home." Back on the surface, Ava led a unit through the lab halls. She knew this place. She had escaped from here once. Now, she was burning it down. She moved fast, opening each room, downloading files, clearing every floor. She entered a small lab and stopped. There was a Drovan child there. Alone, crying. She paused, lowered her weapon. The child looked scared, but not dangerous. Ava turned to her teammate. "Get him out. No more prisoners." Above them, the Drovan fleet finally arrived. 17 ships. Heavy weapons, ready for battle. But Earth was already leaving. They moved like smoke, fast, clean, deadly. The Droven ships fired in panic. Missiles flew, lasers burned, but most missed. Earth had done what they came for. They had taken back their people, and they had left a warning. As the last human ship vanished into deep space, a single signal was left behind on open Droven frequencies. It played over and over. We do not start wars, but we finish them. In the Droven High Command Chamber, silence filled the room. Another base destroyed. Another defeat. The Supreme Leader stared at the loss report. He read the names of the rescued prisoners. He noticed something strange. Next to John Carter's name was Ava Marino's, and next to hers was a symbol, immune. What does this mean? He asked. The scientist stepped forward. Her mind couldn't be broken. She has mental resistance we don't understand. The leader frowned. Are they evolving? Possibly, the scientist said. Or maybe they were always this strong. On board the SS Wraith, Carter and Ava stood in front of a holomap. They looked at the Droven border. Think they got the message? Ava asked. Carter smiled. They're scared. Good. She looked at the map again. Where to next? Carter pointed at a new red dot. A mining colony they took last month. 30 humans still inside. Ava nodded. Let's bring them back. But far beyond even the Droven Empire, someone else was watching. A third race. Older. Hidden. Powerful. They had seen Earthrise. And now they were interested. They whispered in ancient tongues. The humans are waking up. The stars were quiet again. After Earth's first strike, the Droven had gone silent. No ships. No messages. No more attacks. But Earth wasn't resting. They were watching. They were listening. And then they heard something strange. Inside a deep space listening post, far beyond the moon, a technician sipped cold coffee. It was just another quiet shift. He looked at the scanner. Nothing. Then something moved. A soft hum. A repeating signal. Not Droven. Not human. He leaned forward. Computer, identify pattern. The eye replied, no known match. Signal is non-Droven. Non-human. Source unknown. The technician called his officer. The officer called his general. The general called Earth. Soon, the signal reached the ESS Vengeance. Commander Carter was the first to hear it. It was just a few seconds long. A low, strange sound, almost like a whisper. But under the static, one word was clear. Awakening. Carter looked at the screen. Where's this coming from? The tech officer pointed to a map. Unknown space. No colonies, no life. Just darkness. Ava Marino stepped beside him. Could be a trap. Could be something worse, Carter said. Back on Earth, the council met. The old general spoke first. This isn't Droven. We scanned every word, every wave. Could it be a trick? No, the tech is older than theirs. Maybe older than ours. The president leaned forward. Then what is it? No one had an answer. Earth sent a probe. A small, fast drone. It flew past the edge of known space. Then past the Droven borders. It reached a strange system. A dead sun. 6 frozen planets. And one large object. Floating. Not a ship. Not a base. It was a black cube. The size of a city. No heat. No energy. But the signal came from inside it. When the probe got close, it sent back one final image. A shape-round, tall, alien. It looked like a statue. A figure with 6 arms. And on its chest, a glowing human symbol. The Earth flag. The probe stopped sending after that. Gone. No sound. No explosion. Just. Vanished. Back on the Vengeance. Carter paced the bridge. What do you think it is? Ava asked. He didn't answer right away. Then he said, whatever it is, it knew us. How? That flag, it didn't copy it. It was real. Our design. Exact lines. Exact stars. But we've never been here before. That's what scares me. The science officer ran in. Sir, you need to see this. He played back the sound wave of the alien signal. It had been cleaned, slowed down, enhanced. Underneath the word awakening, there were others. Faint, broken, but real. They said, human fire. Returned. Wovan. Warning ignored. They are not ready. Carter's hands clenched. Who's not ready? The president gave Carter new orders. Approach the cube. Do not engage. Observe and report. If hostile, respond with force. Earth's fleet changed course. 15 warships. 5 stealth scouts. 1 command vessel. All heading toward the black cube in the dark. Meanwhile, inside the Droven high chamber, fear had returned. They too had heard the signal, but they recognized it. An elder spoke. This signal, it is ancient. From the time before stars. The council leader turned pale. You mean from them? The elder nodded. They watched the birth of war. They marked the humans. Why? Because humans destroy what they touch. Even gods. In deep space, Earth's fleet reached the black cube. No defenses. No reaction. Just silence. Until the lights turned on. Not outside. Inside, the ships. One by one. Earth vessels lost power. Engines flickered. Weapons went offline. The ships didn't fall, but they floated blind and still. Only one ship still moved, the Valkyrie. Ava's scout craft. It was new. Experimental. Not connected to the same systems. Ava turned and saw the cube open. A door. Smooth and silent. Inside, light, not harsh. Soft. Warm. Welcoming. Carter's voice came through the comms. Ava, don't go in. She paused. Double quote, sir. I think it wants to talk. Or trap you. She smiled. Then you'll know where to find me. And she flew in. The door closed behind her. No sound. No resistance. Inside. She saw walls made of light. Symbols moving. Shapes forming. And then, a voice. Not from speakers. From inside her head. You have returned. She raised her weapon. Who are you? We are the architects. The ones who made the first stars. We waited for your kind. You, the final fire. Back on the Vengeance, systems returned to life. Everything flickered on again. Carter shouted. Ava, Ava, do you copy? No response. Just one line on the screen. She is learning. Inside the cube, Ava floated in silence. No pain. No fear. Only knowledge. The voice spoke again. You are the key. They tried to control you, but you are not theirs. You are the signal. Outside, the Droven fleet appeared. Dozens of ships. Weapons ready. They had come not to attack humans, but to destroy the cube. Carter saw them forming up. Get between them and the artifact. But sir, they'll fire. I don't care. Ava's in there. The Droven leader sent a message to all. Earth, listen. That is not a god. It is not a gift. It is a curse. Leave now or die with it. Carter replied, if that thing marked us, then maybe you should be scared. Inside the cube, Ava finally opened her eyes. The light faded. The voice was gone. But something had changed. Could hear the Droven. Ships outside. Not through comms. Through space itself. Her mind felt larger. Sharper. She understood things she didn't before. The cube had unlocked something. She flew out. The cube sealed behind her. And then vanished. Not with speed, but like it had never existed. The Droven ships froze. Their weapons dropped. And then they left. Without a fight, without a word. On board the Vengeance, Carter looked at Ava. What happened in there? She looked him in the eyes. I think we're part of something bigger. Far away, in another part of the galaxy. The architects watched. They saw the Droven run. They saw the humans stand, and they whispered one more line. It begins. The stars looked the same, but something had changed. Something inside. Ava Moreno. And something inside every human who heard the signal. The SS vengeance was flying back towards safe space. The crew was quiet. Their mission had succeeded, but no one celebrated. They had rescued prisoners. They had survived the Droven. But now, there was something they didn't understand, something inside one of their own. Ava sat alone in a medical chamber. Doctors scanned her. Machines beeped. Nothing was wrong, but nothing was normal either. Her body was the same, but her brain activity? Off the charts. It was like a second language was now in her thoughts. A silent code, patterns, numbers, visions, and she could feel things, ships, power systems, even emotions like echoes around her. Dr. Ellen Voss looked at the brain scans. This isn't human. Commander Carter stood beside her. But it is Ava. Yes, she said. And something more. That night, Ava stood at the viewing window. She stared at a nearby star. Suddenly, a voice echoed in her mind. Not a word, just a feeling. We are watching. Back on Earth, the council met again. The president's face was serious. So the cube is gone. Yes, Madam President, Carter said. And Ava Moreno? She's changed. Is she dangerous? We don't know. But someone else had already made up their mind. In a dark room far below Earth's surface, a secret branch of military intelligence, the Black Signal Division, studied Ava's data. They saw her brainwaves. They saw the patterns. They saw the signal still active inside her, and they decided, contain her, study her, or stop her before it's too late. But Ava already knew. They were watching. She felt it. She felt everything. The cameras, the tension in the air. The fear in the voices of the crew. She whispered to herself, I'm still me. But even she wasn't sure anymore. The next day, Earth's Orbital Science Station, EOS-9, went offline. No warning. No message. Just silence. Then static. And then one sentence came through. They are waking up. EOS-9 had been studying something strange. An old satellite launched 300 years ago. It had returned from deep space on its own. No fuel. No power. But it came back broadcasting the same signal as the cube. Ava heard the static and collapsed to her knees. Her hands shook. She whispered, it wasn't just one cube. The architects had left many beacons, hidden across the galaxy. Each one waiting, each one watching. And now that Ava had touched one, she could feel the others. Commander Carter made a choice. We need answers. No more waiting. He gathered a small team, Ava, Dr. Voss, and 2 top scouts. Their mission, find the next signal. Find the next cube. They followed Ava's visions. She didn't know where she was going. She just knew when it felt right. A pull inside her chest. Not physical, but deep. Real. After 5 days in deep space, they found something. A planet. Dead. Black oceans. No sun. But under the ground. A structure. Smooth metal. Carved symbols. Like the cube. As they explored, the team found carvings of tall, 6-armed beings. The same shape from Ava's vision. The same being she had heard in the cube. But there was something else. A warning. Do not awaken the fire. Once it burns, it cannot be stopped. Dr. Voss took scans. She noticed something strange in the symbols. They weren't just words, they were coordinates. Carter pointed at the data. These aren't random. They're locations, Ava said. Of what? She looked up. Other beacons. That night, while the team slept, Ava dreamt of fire. Not war. Creation. She saw galaxies spinning in slow motion. She saw humans, young, curious, afraid. She saw the architects. Not as gods, but as observers, watching life grow, and warning what happens when life forgets its limits. She woke up sweating. Her hands glowed faintly, only for a second. Then the light vanished. On Earth, the Black Signal Division intercepted the same data. They decoded the coordinates. They saw what Ava had seen. And they panicked. This is bigger than the Droven. It always was. The head of Black Signal gave a direct order. Bring Ava in. Alive if possible. But Ava was already gone. She left with Carter's team toward the next beacon, this time closer to Earth, buried inside one of Jupiter's forgotten moons. As they reached the moon's surface, Ava paused. Something's different here. They went below ground, into old alien tunnels. Dark, cold. Until they found it. A chamber with a human skeleton. It wore Earth armor from over 200 years ago. Before first contact. Before Space War. And in its hand, a piece of the same black metal as the first cube. Ava knelt. She didn't speak. She just listened, and again. The voice came, not with words, but meaning. One of you came before. He was warned. He did not listen. Will you? She whispered. Yes. The chamber lit up. A map appeared in the air, thousands of dots, all across the galaxy. Each one a beacon. Each one connected. Carter stepped forward. This is a network. Voss nodded. A web. And Earth's in the center. Suddenly the chamber shook. An alarm blared. Ava's head snapped up. They're here. Who? Carter asked. Black Signal. An Earth stealth team landed above them. Trained soldiers, ordered to retrieve Ava at any cost. They moved in fast, quiet, but Ava already knew. She turned to Carter. I don't want to hurt anyone. Then don't, he said. Let me talk to them. Carter walked up to the soldiers with his hands raised, but they didn't lower their weapons. Their leader stepped forward. She's not human anymore. We have to protect Earth, Carter replied. Calm but firm. She is Earth, and she might be the only one who can save it. Above them, the beacon on Jupiter's moon lit up and sent out a pulse. Invisible. But not harmless. Across the system, other beacons woke up. Each one scanning. Each one remembering. Earth detected the pulse. So did the DRO van. So did others. New signals. Unknown life forms. Ancient machines. The galaxy had changed, and it had only just begun. That night, Ava stood at the edge of the moon's ridge, looking out at space. Carter joined her. You okay? She nodded slowly. I'm scared. So am I. But I know this. Now I wasn't changed by the cube. He looked at her. She smiled faintly. I was built for it. Somewhere in the dark, the architects whispered, the fire has been found, and this time, it remembers. The signal had gone out. Across space, across time, and something had heard it. Ava. Moreno didn't sleep much anymore. Not because she couldn't, because she was afraid of what she'd see. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw them. The architects, the beacons, and now something else. Something that even the architects feared. Back on Earth, the world was changing fast. When the council released Ava's story to the public, about the beacons, about the architects, people didn't react with hope. They reacted with fear. Cities filled with protests. Some people called Ava a hero. Some called her a weapon, and some called her the end of the world. The media named it the fire line. A growing divide between people who believed Ava was the future and those who believed she would destroy everything. In orbit, Carter's ship, the Vengeance, waited near Mars. Ava was kept in a secure room, not a prison. But not freedom either. Just watch. She understood. But she also felt the pressure growing. People on Earth were afraid. She felt it in her chest like a storm. One night, Ava stood looking out the window. Carter walked in. You okay? He asked. She didn't answer at first. Then she turned. They're coming. He frowned. The Droven? She shook her head. No, worse. Meanwhile, deep in Droven space, something was wrong. Entire colonies had gone silent. Scout ships sent to investigate didn't return. And at the edge of their maps, they saw something impossible. A dark sphere, 600 kilometers wide, swallowing stars. Not a ship. Not a planet. A void. Inside the Drovan High Council, panic grew. This is not human. This is not architect, one general shouted. No, said the elder. This is the silence. The others froze. That word had not been spoken in ages. The what? A younger officer asked. The ones the architects tried to hide. The ones who feed on memory, on light, on life. The Drovan sent a message. To Earth, to Ava. One simple word. Run. On the vengeance. Carter watched the message play. He turned to Ava. She was already staring at the screen. They're here, she whispered. Dr. Voss ran in with a tablet. Something's happening to the beacons. What do you mean? They're shutting down. By who? Not by us. Not by Ava. Something else is hunting them. In Earth orbit, 10 new defense satellites went dark. One by one. As if something passed through them. No explosion. No sound. Just dawn. Earth called a full alert. Fleets deployed. Tactical nukes readied. Even Black Signal Division backed off their hunt for Ava. They had something new to fear now. That night, a private channel opened in Ava's room. An old voice came through. She knew it before he spoke. The architect. The silence has awakened. You broke the lock. Now the fire must burn, or all will freeze. She asked softly, what are they? The voice replied, they do not create, they only erase. Galaxies vanish in their wake. They come for what? You are becoming. She turned to Carter, eyes filled with both fear and fire. I need to reach the final beacon. You found it? She nodded. It's not far. Not anymore. On Earth, things were getting worse. False reports, conspiracy theories, riots. Some believed Ava had summoned these new monsters. Others said she was the only thing holding them back. But the truth? No one knew what was coming next. That answer came 2 days later. In the asteroid belt, a deep space mining crew vanished. Mid-signal. An automatic drone recorded the last footage. A wave of black, like liquid shadow, moving through space. No engines. No light. Just hunger. One survivor's voice was heard through broken static. It's not metal. It's not life. It's like absence itself. The president called a final meeting. Ava was allowed to speak. Broadcast to all. She stood calmly. No fear in her voice. They are not here for war. They don't want our planets. They want our light, our memory. They want to turn this galaxy into silence. People asked, then what? Do we do? Ava looked into the camera and said, we fight. But not with guns alone. I must reach the last beacon. I must finish what the architects began. The world paused. For the first time in months. Earth agreed. The council gave her a ship, a crew, and one final chance to stop the rising dark. As they launched, Carter walked beside her. Do you think we can stop them? Ava looked into the stars and smiled. I think it's time they feared us. Behind them, Earth prepared. Ships formed battle lines. Allies joined. Even the Drovan came. Old enemies, standing beside humans for the first time, because the silence came for everyone. And only one light still stood. Far beyond known space. A beacon glowed. Waiting. Watching. And deep inside it, a final message flickered in ancient code. One fire remains. And she is not alone. The stars were silent, too silent. And then the darkness arrived. Not darkness like night. Not shadows. This was the silence alive. Intelligent, hungry. It didn't just destroy planets. It erased them, like they were never there. Ava Marino stood on the deck of the starship Nova Light, Earth's last hope. She looked ahead toward a place no map showed. The location of the final beacon, hidden at the edge of the galaxy. A place even the architects feared. Behind her, humanity was not alone. Hundreds of Earth ships followed. The Drovan too, enemies. Once. Now allies. They had all seen the truth. The silence was coming for everyone. As the fleet passed the last known star, everything grew cold. The stars faded. Background became empty, not black, but void. Then a whisper came through the COMMS. No signal. No language. Just one feeling. We see your light. Now we will take it. The crew shivered. Dr. Voss clutched her datapad. This isn't just space. We're inside something. Ava nodded. This is where the architects built the first flame. Carter asked, what is it? Ava looked at her hands. It's hope. Then, the final beacon appeared. It was not a cube, not a structure. It was a floating sun, made of silver fire, burning, but not hot, alive, but not alive. Held together by pure memory. Suddenly, the silence reacted. A great shape moved in the distance. A world-sized creature of shadow and TNDR. It had no eyes, no face, but it saw them. And it moved closer. Protect the beacon. Carter shouted. Earth and Drovan fleets opened fire. Torpedoes, lasers, plasma, but nothing hit. Everything passed through the creature. As if it wasn't real, or as if reality bent around it. Ships began to vanish. One by one. No explosions. Just gone. Wiped clean from time. Ava stepped forward. She took off her helmet. She walked to the center of the ship's bridge and raised her hand. She whispered something soft. In the language of the architects. The beacon pulsed. The fire grew brighter. Carter stared. What are you doing? She turned to him. I'm not fighting it. I'm remembering. Suddenly, images filled the air. Earth, green and blue. Children laughing. Soldiers dying to protect. Scientists dreaming of stars. Memories. Human memory. Their story. All of it poured into the beacon. The silence screamed. It tried to push in, tried to erase, but it COULDN single quotes D, because for the first time, something remembered back. The architects had tried to hold the silence back with technology, but they failed. They were too ancient, too cold. But humans? Humans were fire. They burned with hope. With love, with rage. With story, and stories can't be erased. The beacon exploded with light, but not deadly. It was truth. A wave of pure memory shot through the void. Every human emotion, every moment. It hit the creature, and the creature screamed. It began to crack. Tear. Not in the body, but in the mind, because it had no story. No name. No soul. And now it could not survive where memory lived. All across the galaxy, beacons reignited, each one glowing with memories of the people who touched them, and one by one, the silence began to fall back, not destroyed, but driven away, back into the dark, the nova. Light floated silently. Inside, Ava collapsed. She wasn't dead, but she wasn't fully here anymore. Her mind now stretched across light, across stars, across beacons. She had become something more. Not a god, not a machine. Just human. Carter knelt beside her. Ava. She opened her eyes. Smiled. Double quotes. You remember me? He nodded. Always. Back on Earth, the skies lit up. For a moment, everyone looked up, not in fear, but in wonder, because they had survived, because they had mattered, because they had fought. Back, the architects had watched. Now they whispered, not to Ava but to everyone. She lit the flame. You must keep it burning. Weeks later, a statue was built, not of Ava's face, but of a simple beacon. Burning silver. At its base, the words were written, "We are the fire, we remember, we rise." The end.